Okay, so let's just dive right into the core challenge of managing transitions. Let me know what you think about this quote here from Peter Senge. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. So, is there a difference to you between resisting this idea of change versus resisting the feeling of being changed? Mm, yeah, I can definitely relate. I can definitely relate. That feeling of having something done to you is where nearly every initiative falls apart, right? It often feels like leaders just immediately jump to the solution without really building the case, right? Or involving the people. Tell me, are you familiar with Lewin's three-step model? No, no. All right, no worries. That's all right. We're here to learn, right? It's a small but mighty framework, and we're actually going to use it to turn you into a master architect of change by really focusing on how we're communicating the change and then also how we're supporting people through it. Sound good to you? Bravo. Let's get into it. Check out this slide here. Okay, it's a visual. I'm a visual person. I really like visuals. It helps me sometimes process concepts. So I like this one because it's pretty clean. Got it from the Human Capital Hub. A lot of great free resources there if you ever want to check it out. So I love to share those along the way as well. But here, what you're seeing is the three-step model. Sometimes it's called the unfreeze, change, refreeze model. Okay. What I'm going to do is go through each of the steps and we're just going to kind of talk it out, right? The first step is called the unfreeze step, right? Or this is where you're really communicating the compelling why, right? In the unfreezing, there's two things that have to happen, right? The first is that you've got to create an awareness of the pain of the current state. Sometimes folks refer to that as the burning platform, right? What's your burning platform? What is this big pain point that needs to be changed, right? And then the second part of this is presenting this compelling vision for the future, right? The future state really talking about emotional logic here. I like to call it the hearts and minds campaigns. We're not talking about spreadsheet logic. We're really trying to tap into, again, the emotions of folks around the change. Before anyone accepts a change, they've got to accept that the current way is really painful, right? And that's why we call it the unfreeze. Now, we pause, ask you, when you think back to maybe a recent change that the team has undergone, did the leadership spend enough time at this stage? What do I mean by that? Convincing you and the team that the current status quo was actually painful? Hmm, yeah. The secret here at this stage is really the narrative, right? If we can't tell a story that hits 3 points, right? Pain, vision, and payoff. I like to say pain, vision, and payoff. Then we kind of fail this unfreeze stage. We're going to have a little bit of a practice with this right now. Okay. I want you to imagine maybe that you've got to announce some type of change initiative, right? If you don't have one happening right now, let's imagine maybe you're switching to some kind of new project management software. Everybody's always adapting some kind of new technology with teams, right? So maybe that's a safe enough one. So for the unfreeze stage of this, I want you to think about maybe three key talking points you would share with the team to prepare them for this change. One of your talking points should focus on the pain, right? The second talking point should focus on the vision, that future state, right? And then that third talking point, I want you to really focus on the payoff, that emotional heartstrings that you can tug at that will really get people to buy into this idea of the change. I'm going to give you a couple of beats to think about that. Remember, I am here rooting for you. So we're not striving for perfection. We're just practicing here. Safe space. Okay? Bravo. Go for it. Don't mind me. I'll look elsewhere. Few more seconds, maybe 10, 15 more seconds. All right. Okay. Now let's hear what you came up with. Okay. Hmm. I like that. I like that. Wow. Listen, that pain point of spending 4 hours a week on manual entry, that's powerful because it's a measurable pain. Geez. And then pairing it with no more urgent Friday 4 p.m. emails, that really connects the change directly to everyone's personal life. Nobody wants an urgent 4 p.m. Friday email. So that is a very compelling unfreeze narrative. Well done. Well done. You're a really quick study. You're a quick study. Listen, these talking points are off to a great start. This is exactly the mode of thinking that really supports compelling communication. Okay. So you've got it. You've got it. Now, once people buy the narrative, that's when we enter the change phase, right? This is the messy part sometimes where people will feel frustrated and confused and start to really miss the old way, right? So your job is to create a safety net. And we've got a couple of support strategies we can talk through to, kind of describe what that might look like.